All right. So today I'm going to be doing a tier list for the discographies of Run the Jewels and Injury Reserve. It's mainly just because they're both alternative hip hop groups that are well loved, and they both have short discographies, so I was just like, why not? Yeah, let's just get into it. I don't really have any notes. So, starting off at the bottom in D tier, probably the only album I don't really like, it's Run the Jewels 3. And to be completely honest, it's not a bad album, it's just very weak. I think the best thing I could compare it to is Long Live ASAP by ASAP Rocky, except that album is way better. But it sounds like the group is trying to go pop rap with this one. I don't really know how much better to describe it. It just sounds way more accessible, the production isn't nearly as strong, and the energy feels a little low. No, it doesn't. It sounds different, and I don't really like the change. Um, there's only one big highlight on here for me, that being Panther Like a Panther. That's a good song. I like Danny Brown's feature on here. But other than that, I don't really have much more to say about this album. It's pretty weak, and probably the only thing on here that I'd call mediocre. I'd give this like a strong 5 to a light 6 out of 10. Moving up into C tier, though, we do have an Injury Reserve album, that being Drive It Like It's Stolen. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about this album. I just think the production is weaker than every other Injury Reserve project, and that's probably one of my favorite parts of an Injury Reserve project is the production. Yeah, there's really nothing special about this album. I like the tracks North Pole and Chin Up, but I think it's short runtime, and just as I said, the not so memorable production kind of brings it down for me. It's not a bad album by any means. It's a very strong 7 for me. It's still a good project by Injury Reserve. Going up into B tier, though, we do have Run the Jewels' self-titled project, their debut. Um, it just sounds like they haven't figured everything out yet. The chemistry, there's not the big Killer Mike and LP don't have the chemistry that they do on something like an RTJ 2 or 4. It's just like the production's great as always, but they don't have like that kind of back and forth or that kind of friend energy that they do on their best projects to me. It does have some big highlights like the title track and Banana Clipper, and everything else is pretty good. I just think it could be better for sure. I'm overall feeling like a light to decent 8 on RTJ1. It's still good. It's still pretty good. Now we kind of have a hot take, but moving into A tier, we got By the Time I Get to Phoenix. Um, I'm gonna try not to rant on this one because it's kind of a confusing album for me. It's very different from everything else Injury Reserve has ever done. Like the production here is unlike any other Injury Reserve album. It sounds super weird. I think it's kind of like the production Drive It Like It's Stolen, but other than like I just can't compare it to anything, man. It sounds so weird. Like the first half of this album is literally just like what? Like it sounds like the back half of soundtracks for The Blind by Swans. That's what it reminds me of. It's like this weird, kind of scary sounding ambient kind of rap hip hop vocal thing. I don't know, spoken word. It's so weird. And then the back half kind of picks it up for me. And I'm not saying this is a bad album. I am not saying this is a mediocre album. I think it's a great album. My problem with it though is that it just hasn't clicked with me yet. I think with every other I think besides Drive It Like It's Stolen, every other Injury Reserve project I'm like listening to. Like I'm listening to it like on the weekly. And this one I'm not. Like I'm just not. And it's not that I want Injury Reserve to make accessible, easy listening, fun music. It's I just don't know how to describe By the Time I Get to Phoenix. It sounds like an experience, but it just doesn't click with me. Like I see the art and I'm like, yes, but it just doesn't click with me. I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's the headspace I'm in. Maybe it's just how I'm feeling right now. I don't know, man. Maybe I should come back to this when I'm like in a bad mood or like when I'm sad or something, and maybe it'll click with me. But other than that, it just hasn't hit with me like how it has with everyone else. And I'm not like dismissing GROGGS is passing. Like, rest in peace, of course. But like, it just doesn't hit to me. It feels kind of like a journey, but there's no destination. And it's like it's supposed to be like it's about the journey, not the destination kind of thing. That's what this album kind of makes me think of. But like I think I'm gonna compare it to 98 12 28 by Fishmans, and like that album it doesn't click with you when you're listening to it, and then Long Season comes in and you're just like, wow, that was fantastic. Everything clicks with Long Season. This album doesn't have a closer that kind of ties it together, like puts a bow on it and just says like, this is it, man. It doesn't have that. It just kind of it ends. It just ends, and you're just like, well, what now? It kind of makes you think about it yourself, and I appreciate it for that. It does have some highlight tracks on here like Outside, Superman, That, Top Picks for You, Postpartum, and Knees. But like other than that, I'm not really going back to much more on here. I will probably re-listen to it multiple times in the future, but as of right now, I'm not really feeling this one that much. I still like it to some degree, and I appreciate it, and I respect it. But as of right now, I'm feeling a light 9 on it. Like, it's still really good, but it's not as good as everyone was saying it was. Moving up or above, by the time I get to Phoenix, we do have RTJ 2. And I like this one like about the same as I do with By the Time I Get to Phoenix. It's pretty great, man. It's just a bunch of bangers. Killer Mike and LP's Energy is really great. It has some big bangers on here. The production is great as always. They have more chemistry than they do on RTJ 1. And I think it's a big improvement. I think tracks on here like Jeopardy, Oh My Darling, what's it called? Oh My Darling, Don't Cry, and Blockbuster Night Part 1 are fantastic. Close Your Eyes, fantastic. Lie, Cheat, Steal, banger. Love Again, banger. It's just some of Run the Jewels' best songs to date on here, and the chemistry is pretty great as well. Overall, though, I am feeling another light 9 on RTJ 2. Yeah, moving up into S tier, though, we do have RTJ 4. And this album, man, this is my favorite RTJ project, man. The opener, Ooh La La, Out of Sight. What's that? What does it say? I'm reading notes. Never Look Back, The Ground Below, Pulling the Pin, The Closer. What am I saying right now? It's so good. It's so good. Killer Mike and LP's Energy on here, fantastic. Their chemistry's at peak. The production is peak. It's all peak RTJ right here, dude. The messaging, the lyricism, fantastic. Just, I love this album, man. It's got so many fantastic tracks on here. And, like, it's Run the Jewels' best project to date to me. I love this album, man. It's pretty great. I'm feeling a decent 9 on RTJ 4. Above it, though, we do have Floss by Injury Reserve. And I think this album's a little overrated. I definitely go back to this one often. I just feel like if I want more Injury Reserve bangers, I go to their self-titled project, which I will talk about later. But Floss is very freaking good, man. You got tracks on here like the opener, Bad Boys 3, S on Your Chest, 2016 Interlude, All Quiet on the West Side, Keep on Slippin', Look Mama, I Did It. It's just so many bangers on here. You also have the more, as I said, like louder, more ecstatic production on here towards like the start. It has like this kind of weird club aesthetic to it. It's a very fun album though. I think it's a mixtape actually, but whatever. It's very fun, very great. I'm giving this like a decent 9. It's a very good project, man. Definitely the best Injury Reserve project to start out with, honestly. Moving above it though, we do have like 2 albums that are really close for me. Honestly, I feel one on one day and one on the other, but right now I'm feeling Live at the Dentist Office right above Floss. This thing is so good, man. It has some of the best Injury Reserve tracks on here. I think it's one of, if not their best produced album. Really, it's so funky, man. You got tracks on here like Yo, Whatever, Dude, Snowman, Wow, Friday, Dude, 45, TKTV, Falling, Fire, dude. It's all so good. The hooks on here are catchy, man. The Friday one, that one's stuck in my head right now, which is very appropriate. But, like, dude, it's just such a catchy, friggin' funky album. So good. Super enjoyable. Very, very strong 9. Very strong 9. Yeah, it's a strong 9, man. Super good album. I love it. But there is one better. That being their self-titled project, Injury Reserve. This thing has their most consistent track list. It's got their biggest bangers on here. This thing is consistent. It's crisp. It's concise. And it's so freaking good, dude. Literally, the whole track list is a highlight for me, man. The opener, Jawbreaker. Get the F up. Jailbreak. The Tesla, dude. Jailbreak the Tesla is fire, bruh. Gravy and Biscuits. Rap song tutorial. What's that say? I'm trying to read it. Wax On, What a Year It's Been, Best Spot in the House, New Hawaii, Three Man Weave, fire, dude. It's such a good album. I was listening to this album and I was just consistently banging my head because every track on here is a banger, dude. No skips except for like that one interlude track. Everything on here is fantastic. Strong 9. Honestly, dude, I feel like this and Dentist Office are like not like if I had to rate it on album of the year, it's probably like a 99. 98. Like they're both so good, man. It's both such good albums. Very strong 9s for me. But yeah, there's my ranking of RTJ and Injury Reserve. Share your rankings in the comments as always. I had a lot of fun doing this. The music by both of these groups is so fun to listen to. They both make really enjoyable music. And, I'm sorry if I kind of bash Run the Jewels a little, but I had fun making this. Please, as I said, share your rankings in the comments. Love seeing those. If you want more short reviews by me, go check out my album of the year, linked in the description. And yeah, I'm glad you made it this far. Hope to see you in the next video.